Hello everyone, it's Hero Firule here, and well, today is the third episode. Well, in fact, sadly, it's the season finale of Road to E3 2016, because E3 is starting right now. Well, as probably it's already started as you see this video. Well, Tuesday is Nintendo's E3, so I would like to say I hope you guys will enjoy this E3, and I hope you guys are enjoying this E3 too. And well, this long video here is a discussion I have with a friend of mine, Reuben. His channel is down in the description below, so you go subscribe to him. Good content, good stuff. Go see that thing. So here's the discussion. Hope you guys like it, and I'll talk to you guys later. Well, hi Ruben. Welcome to the E3 discussion.
Thanks for having me, Hero.
It's a pleasure. I'll start with the first thing. What are your hopes for the next Zelda game?
Well, one thing that I've been wanting in Zelda games just for a while now is a more open quest. If you think to a lot of the Zelda games, especially ones like Twilight Princess or Ocarina of Time, they're extremely linear. And it's great for people who are just getting into the series to be able to take the more linear paths, but I would like at least for there to be an option for us to kind of venture off and do things in our own fashion.
Yeah.
And
No, go for it.
I just lost my momentum.
Well, I agree with you though, because I mean, for the games, I think games, well, Zelda games in general have become more linear with time, and they took, well, I think it's pretty much confirmed, but he took Ocarina of Time as a model for the game after it. I mean,
Yeah.
but as having Ocarina of Time as a model, I mean, it's a great game. It's like, I mean, like the games are good. There's no doubt about that, but it became, as the game become more complex, as technology advanced with the graphics and power, console power and everything. I think they could go, like you said, like a more open quest, like you said, because having, I don't know, like have a choice, maybe, I don't know, I'm just saying stuff like that, but different endings for side quests too, not just the main quest, but
Yeah,
uh,
that was also something that I had thought that multiple endings.
yeah.
As far as I know, it's never been done in a Zelda game outside of you win or game over.
Yeah.
And I think it would be pretty cool if we could get something like that. I hadn't thought about it with the side quests. I think that could be pretty interesting too.
Yeah, because I don't know, maybe because as far as we know, Link doesn't have a partner yet, except for Hipona. So maybe in the first couple of hours of gameplay, maybe you can get a partner, or maybe you can switch between partners depending of what quest you do, on what side quest you do, and maybe these partners can have uh, different powers. Maybe I don't know, we can carry more stuff. Maybe you can heal. You take less damage. I don't know. Maybe they're just different characters for whatever you like. Some people like Navi. Some people like Minna. So different personalities, different people. So
Hmm.
maybe they won't change anything at all. But just having a choice is already something, I guess. But
Yeah.
I've read different endings for the side quest can actually influence for whatever. I don't know. Maybe you go in a village and you want to. There's a quest for saving some, I don't know, little girl who got lost in a cave. You go in the cave, you save the girl, and you bring her back, and everything's good. You get everybody's friendly. But if you fail, maybe you don't get a second chance, and or maybe you have to wait like another day, in-game day or whatever, just before you can retry the quests or something. For
And everyone's super disappointed
yes,
in
super
you.
disappointed in you, or you can't open a shop before you did that. But like, I don't know, there's two shops maybe in a village, like a bomb shop and an arrow shop, and depending on what ending, like you have a choice to save someone and let someone die. Maybe it's a little bit too dark for a Zelda game, but you kind of get it. But depending on your choice, one of these shops is gonna be it's gonna be open in this village. So depending on your ending, it's gonna be in arrow shop or a bomb shop. I don't know, some stuff like that. But
Yeah.
for the main game, for the main quest, I think having multiple endings is gonna be great for well, it's going to be different, it's going to be original, but also for the timeline, because there's already like the game ends, and then it goes there after this game, or before this game. But with multiple ending, you can go even further, like Ocarina of Time did. But they just didn't have multiple endings at this time. But if the game would actually have multiple ending, it could go with in another split timeline, like giving the Nintendo more freedom for the next games to come after
Hmm.
this game.
And that was something that I had been thinking about, like, for where this could go in the timeline,
Hmm.
because one of the few Zelda games to actually put any sort of details into its game over timeline was Zelda 2, Link's Adventure,
Yeah,
where whenever you get game over, it'll say Rise of Ganon. And, I think that this shows the potential for another game over timeline where hypothetically they could put a game or two somewhere in there,
yeah.
potentially in a world that is completely ruled by Ganon. Because aside from the latter portion of Ocarina, we don't really get to see anything like that. And I think it would be something that they could do now to make, if they wanted to, a darker Zelda game.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Um, well, I had three theory about the timeline, where it could go. Cause yes, there's a lot of people say it's after Skyward Sword, maybe like they explore the land and everything. But I actually prefer. Well, it's not. I don't prefer, because I think it's like the most popular theory about the game, like timeline speaking, right now. But I think after Zelda 2 is also a possibility, because if we follow, of course, Zelda 1 and 2, they're they're from the NES, so it's, of course, it's not the biggest games technically,
Yeah.
but if we go by in the game itself, they have the largest Zelda maps ever made, technically,
Hmm.
especially Zelda 2. If you look at the full map of Zelda 2, like there's
It's
it's
gigantic.
gigantic. The smallest thing on the south of the map is the whole Zelda 1 map. So just having this, it's kind of, yeah, it's you said it, it's gigantic. So, and I think that some YouTubers have found links between like the Zelda 1 map and Zelda U map, like like the lakes and the sea on the side and whatever. But
Yeah.
I think in a game like in Zelda 2, having a map as gigantic as this one, I think it's gonna be, well, it could be a thing that the new game is after Zelda 2, as it's the biggest map, and I know we have the biggest map yet right now in the future game, but this is, I think, a chance. There's a chance that the game goes after Zelda 2. That's what I want to say,
Hmm.
but of course it's just like speculation. Of course, I don't have any proof, but well, nobody has it anyway. But
Yeah.
I think it's just something I like to see, but also about like where after, not after Zelda 2, but between not sorry, between Twilight Princess and Majora's Mask. There's also all, because I see in the timeline when I have it in front of my face, there's 3 points on it where there's like only little markers, and there's nothing
Yeah.
written there. And these are these three spot after Skyward Sword, before Twilight Princess, and I think the other one is on the Downfall timeline, I think, but I'm not sure. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, somewhere, I want to say before Link to the Past, maybe?
maybe, but there's one on the Downfall timeline, I'm pretty sure.
Hmm. But speaking of, like, just timeline placement, there was one other potential place related to Zelda 2 where they could put a game. Because at the beginning of Zelda 2,
Hmm.
they tell you about how this Princess Zelda got put under a sleep spell by a wizard guy, and we don't get much information about that.
Yeah.
Just that somehow it involves the Triforce, and she hid it for some reason, and it's not explained why. There's enough potential there for a story that they could make a game about how Zelda ended up cursed by this wizard to be sleeping until, some hero manages to wake her up in a dangerous, life-changing quest.
Hmm.
And I think, especially if they wanted to make, a more mature Zelda game, that could be it, because it would almost have to end unwell. In an Empire Strikes Back kind of way,
Yeah.
where this person is not saved. Instead, they are, asleep until the continuation. And it could be a place where they could put in a game. It might not necessarily focus on Link as we normally think of him,
Hmm.
but it could still be just an interesting way to go if they wanted to do something and relate it directly to something that they've already done.
Yeah, of course, totally agree with that. I think, well, like I said, this after a Zelda 2 sequel or around that place in time, but I think it's really it could be really legit. I I think there's a lot of the chance it's there, but also the thing that makes me think the thing that makes me think it's around Twilight Princess. Well, instead of Zelda 2, because I want the game to be after Zelda 2. Well, I want it to go at a lot of places, but it's I don't know. He said like there's gonna be links to Twilight Princess, but I just I just can't find what the links could be. But speaking of the links, right now I just found it. Like today I found like a sign of what the game could wait as to why, sorry, the game could actually go around Twilight Princess. It's because, well, I don't know if you saw the last artwork, like the one on the horse. uh
Can't say I have.
I think it's well, it's a new official artwork of Link on Epona on the new game.
Hmm.
And the actually it's, well, it's not exactly the same, but it really looks like the Epona pose on Twilight Princess with Link on it.
Hmm.
It's except Link is right and dead on that one, so it's on the other side, but it's totally the same. I mean, so I don't know. It's just a small thing I saw, but I mean, there's a couple of signs there and there. Maybe with the release of the new remake, of course, they maybe put some like so we can actually catch up on the story and then go back to Zelda U and be like, oh, that's it. So the memory is still fresh about the game, so we can go on Zelda U and be like, oh, okay, I get that, I get it, I get that reference and everything. Um,
Yeah, it would be sensible,
yeah,
to make the game relatable to the one they just remade.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's a lot of possibilities for everywhere on the timeline. But well, not everywhere, but a couple of places. So it's hard to say because all of them, well, mostly all of them, are kind of legit too. So it's kind of difficult to, well, to say exactly where it could be because we don't know a lot about we almost know nothing about the game except for the visuals and a couple of symbols like the Sheikah symbol and everything. But
And the constant setbacks.
yeah. Oh, but the one thing that makes me, well, the one thing I think is the main sign about Twilight Princess prequel, sorry, or sequel or whatever. It's the wolfing amiibo, because they said the amiibos are gonna be useful on the next Zelda game. So all the Zelda amiibos, I mean Link, Young, Toon Link, Ganondorf, Sheik, and Zelda, that's alright, that's okay. But the Wolf Ink amiibo is especially for Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
And why would the? I mean, yes, of course they'd say, of course, it should be useful for the next game because it's a Zelda amiibo too. But I mean, they said it would be especially useful for the next game. So I don't know, because they said it would be more useful than the others compared to like Sheik amiibo or Ganondorf amiibo. The Wolfling amiibo is going to be really useful for the next Zelda game. So I mean, why Wolf Link amiibo? I mean, like, why not? I
Hmm.
don't know, Sheik, or why not Toon Link, or why not like why not Link
Well,
himself? You know?
just something off the top of my head.
Yeah,
It could be possible that Link has like a dog sidekick, and maybe that
maybe
could be used for it.
that'd be cool actually. That'd be cool.
I think it would be, because if you think about it, when Twilight Princess came out and all of a sudden Link turns into a wolf, there wasn't much of a reason for it. It's just something they kind of did,
Yeah,
and it's cool, but for the rest of the Zelda games, it doesn't make much sense. And I think
Hmm.
it would be pretty cool if they were to make like a prequel to Twilight Princess, because there's tons of space in the timeline between Majora and Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
They could make this a prequel, stick in a wolf partner,
Hmm.
and then it could kind of explain that connection why Link's I don't know, spirit animal, I guess, would
Yeah.
be a wolf.
Yeah. I agree with that. But the thing is, I can what I kind of feel because I saw a couple of videos of people talking about Twilight Princess and the theories and everything and stuff about the tunic he has in Twilight Princess. Because, well, since I bought the game in 2006, around yeah, it's 2006. I was sure the tunic was, well, maybe it is. Maybe I just didn't research correctly, but I always thought of it about that it's the Ocarina of Time tunic, just like remade a little bit, like but it's inspired by the Ocarina of Time tunic, and also because I think when they talk about the hero of the goddesses and like how he was a hero and saved everyone, I always thought of it that it's actually Ocarina of Time Link, and people said, well, on YouTube, not everybody, but couple of people said that it was about Skyward Sword Link, or about yeah, well, mostly Skyward Sword Link. So, but the thing right now with the new trailers and we saw, I think it's from Zelda U Link. Well, if it's a prequel to Twilight Princess, because,
Hmm.
well, first of all, the design of the tunic, well, it could be like when I was young. I always thought it was Ocarina of because of the its screen and, well, it's screen everywhere anyway. But I mean, I was 5 years old, so. But
Yeah.
yeah, so with the Zelda Link, I mean, he has a harm guard on his right hand because it's the hand he uses for the sword.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, because he has one there, but he doesn't have one on the left hand because of of the shield, so he doesn't need one. But
Yeah,
the thing is, in the Scarlet Sword, he didn't have any arm guards at all.
that is correct.
So, I mean, in the current of time, he didn't have any either. So, I mean, right now, Zelda U Link is like he looks the same as I mean in clothes, I mean, and armor as Twilight Princess Link, except for the
It's very
tunic.
similar.
Very similar, except for the tunic, because he doesn't have it yet, or he doesn't have
Yeah.
it at all. So, but the thing is, he has the arm guard, and he also has he has a bow, yeah, but the bow design really looks similar to the bow of Twilight Princess.
Hmm.
Um, well, the thing is, also in Twilight Princess, when you got the bow in the Goron Mines, it said it belonged to a hero of the past,
Yep.
um, and that could be Zelda U Link. So maybe you get some items and then you leave them somewhere in the end, so that next generation or next reincarnation of the hero are gonna be able to use these items to, well, do their job. So maybe I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be some stuff like that. Or maybe at the end we see Link put the bow, give his items to a tribe, maybe the Goron tribe in this case, so they can and take keep it and hide it until someone else with the hero spirit can go and take it for his job or whatever. Something that's
Save the
Sam the
Gorons,
Gorons, yeah.
because they can never do it
Oh.
themselves, despite the fact that they're really strong and literally eat rocks.
Yeah. I didn't get that either, but that's kind of funny. But yeah, so I know it's kind of what I think it could be related to Twilight Princess. But the last thing I think, the last spot it could go on the timeline is probably, well, it's just a speculation of mine. It's really not. There's not a lot of proof around it, and I think it's like really weak, weak theory. But uh,
Yeah.
it could be because it's the one I think it's the most creative that I found, but it's around the theories I know. But it's also the one I think it's like the less likable to be true. I think it's not gonna happen. I'm sure it's not gonna happen at all, but I'm still believing. But it's
It just
like there's another to add another split after Ocarina of Time. So like an alternate adult timeline. So because I I just went back and played Wind Waker HD a couple times ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was in Hyrule Castle, and I just went outside when you need to in Hyrule, old Hyrule,
Hmm.
and I just looked around the like the world that was underwater, just
It's
because
hard not to.
yeah, I just wanted to see it because I was like, this game is shell shaded and there's the bloom effect. I want to see as close as possible as to what the next game could look like. So I was like, I'm just gonna look around and see, and I think the like I know it's just a small chip of what we're gonna get for the next game, but I think all the stones, the green mountains and everything, I think it looks like kind of the same type of overworld that Zelda U is getting right now. So I mean, it looks like it could be Hyrule before it was flooded, but that it wouldn't be flooded. Like it could be like Link of Ocarina of Time. Well, you know, it wasn't there, so they had to flood the Hyrule. But what if I know that's the reason I just don't know yet. But for
Well, what if he
whatever
was
reason,
there?
yeah, what if he was there? For whatever reason, he doesn't go back as a young Link and stays in the idle timeline instead of going back into his childhood. Why not? They made a timeline about him getting killed, so why not make a timeline about him
Yeah.
staying in the idle world? So
Yeah, Zelda's like, hey, let me send you back to the past. You can have your childhood. Link's like, nope,
yeah, and
I'm not having any of that.
I'm staying right now. So maybe this could actually erase all the Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Mirror Tracks, and keep the old Hyrule there. So maybe it's gonna be like the whole Hyrule we should have seen uh, under the Great Sea. I don't know. I just thought of that, but I don't know. It's pretty weak. But what are your fears about the game? Like, what do you fear to see, or what you actually don't want them to do with the game?
Hmm. Well, one thing that I kind of don't want is the Master Sword.
Okay.
And I know it's iconic and it's been in a lot of the games, but that's kind of why I don't want to. I'd like to see something new.
Okay.
And even if it's just like the magic sword in 3D, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. That.
Or
Yeah. Totally.
one thing I saw is in some of the artwork that has been released where Link's got his bow. He has this thing, it's kind of like an arrow, but it seems bigger and more complex. And I don't know what that thing is supposed to be, but it looks awesome.
Yeah. It does.
And whatever it is, I feel like they could make that the main weapon of the game, which would make sense as to why they've put it in the promotional artwork, where it could be something that doesn't act like a traditional arrow, but instead is like a multi-purpose weapon,
Mm-hmm.
where potentially it could be upgraded to have, the fire arrows or ice arrows, light arrows, etc. And maybe even some new stuff, something electrical could be an option.
Yeah.
And instead of having a thing where Link has to just go around and find a new weapon and then you're constantly switching out, maybe give him something with a little more versatility to it.
Yeah.
And it could also potentially be used to replace like a hook shot, where instead you gotta just shoot the arrow somewhere and you'll have a length of rope or something that you could attach to it, so that then you could potentially scale a building or walk across a canyon, on like a tightrope.
Yeah.
Just something different.
Yeah. Actually.
I,
Yeah. Sorry. Go for it.
I think it could also be used for close range combat, where, he takes it out of the bow and then could use it like the fire rod or ice rod. And it would potentially have similar effects to what would happen if he shot it, except instead it's just at a closer range.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think in that way, it could potentially replace a sword. It could potentially replace a sword as the main item.
Yeah, actually I think I had the same idea about the arrow and what it like the multiple purposes. Especially for I thought, well, for replacing the hook shot, because I actually wanted an arrow that you could just like a grapple arrow instead of a hook shot that you
Hmm.
just throw on a cliff and you can climb it. I think it can actually be really well, one of those items that you can go and take and receive from side quests and from like those things, you know.
Yeah.
That that thing could actually well, what kind of, well, multiple types of arrows, like you said, like grapple arrow, and I think the bow and arrow should be the main item outside of like the sword, if that's the main weapon of the game. But I mean, outside of the sword, the bow should definitely be the main item. I mean, or may even like the main item, like you said, at all. Like the first weapon you use is the bow. I mean,
Hmm.
but the only thing that scares me with that is if the the bosses. I don't want them to be like in Scarlet Sword, which it's always like big. Well, almost not all bosses in Scarlet Sword, but like especially that one on the boat. This is I was really disappointed with this boss. I just went like, oh my god, big tentacles, big monster
Yeah.
just outside. I'm like, oh, that looks like Mike Wazowski from Monster Inc.
Well, not Mike Wazowski, but his girlfriend.
Yeah, I was like, no, why?
Whatever her
It
name
looks so
was.
derpy. I don't.
Yeah.
I was like, and I wanted some aggressive boss, some scary looking boss, not like a goofy, bubbly. I don't
Yeah, that
know.
was a problem with Skyward Sword in general, is the art style, how it's like a cross between Twilight Princess and Wind Waker,
Yeah, exactly.
and it just doesn't really work.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the painting, backgrounds and everything. The game is beautiful. There's no doubt about that. But
Yeah.
it, yeah, like you said, it's a mix of both. So it's kind of like doing Twilight Princess bosses with Wind Waker graphics doesn't work. I mean, it's kind of like the mix doesn't work for, especially for the bosses. I mean, well, the one in the cistern was really good. I think this one was great, a great boss with the swords, like Coloctos, I guess his name is.
Yeah, all those
Yeah,
arms and
it was
just so many
this
weapons.
one was great. I think it was a good boss, but like the one on the boat, especially is the one that comes to mind first. Is I don't know. It wasn't really great. The boss fight wasn't
Yeah.
bad. The boss fight wasn't bad, but I think like the eye as a weak point. I mean,
It's overdone.
it's overdone. We got it in a lot of games. I mean, in 2D Zelda games in the first couple of games. I mean, I understand it was the start of the series and like you go for it first. It's the easiest thing to actually do. I mean, oh, bosses, big eye, shoot it. That's it. It's
Yeah.
very kind of simple, but with with time you need to like go to the next level, you know. So like I said, maybe like go with a chase, like you go outside and chase the boss, because I don't know, you're fighting him like a first phase, you're fighting him with your sword, and you
Hmm.
just try to hit him, and that's like at one point he just bam, he just goes out of the cave and he escapes, and you're like, what do I do, what the hell?
Yeah, I think the best way to imagine the epicness of such a situation is Got from Majora's Mask,
Yeah, exactly.
not in a cave.
Exactly. That's exactly what I. Yeah. Yes. Exactly what I was
It would
thinking.
be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. One of. Yeah. God was a really really good boss. I mean, it was different from the rest, and
Mhm.
well, if it was outside, that would have been great. I mean, well, it's great in Majora's Mask like it is. I don't want to change it, but in Zelda U,
Yeah.
they could actually do it and make it like even more epic. Like having that spider monster we got in the trailer, having him run like in the trailer itself and just run around and try to kill him before like he reaches a village, and if he reaches the
Yeah.
village, maybe all the shops and the population are gonna well, maybe not because
They're
it's some,
down.
yeah, they're down, maybe because well, maybe not if it's a main quest because it's part of the game and
Well,
you
yeah.
have to restart, but if it's a side quest boss, at least do it like if you lose you have consequences. If you lose
Yeah.
and don't die, you have consequences. So maybe
Yeah.
the village
And the
is, yeah.
shops, they don't have to be down forever, of
No,
course,
no, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
for a while, or at least like there's an item that maybe they would have gotten later
Yeah.
that now, because the shop had to rebuild, they weren't able to afford to buy that really cool thing.
Yeah, so you have to,
And then you can't get it.
yeah, or you have to get it somewhere else, or you have to get it much later. So I think that could be actually a really cool thing. Um, but I think the bosses of the game should. I mean, I want the bosses to be more than just like one time only. Like you beat
Hmm.
him, that's it. Because I have a lot of memories, good memories about fighting bosses in Zelda games. I'm like, oh, this boss was epic. It was amazing. It was great. But the fight was maybe like 5 to 10 minutes if you don't die and if you're kind of okay at the game. So I mean, and then it's over, and then you don't do it again. It's just over, and yeah, you
Yeah.
get to the next boss, and you get to the game, and to the end of the game, and you finish the game, and you're like, okay, that boss was epic, but I just couldn't do it once. And you have to, well, you have a couple of options. You can copy your game file, but you only have 3 files, and you're probably not the only one who's playing the game. So,
Or two
those
files
two
if you're
files,
on
yeah,
Majora.
yeah, so I mean, I think that is like, man, I just want to play that boss over and over again. So maybe I have like a boss battles mode you can do when you beat a boss, like Ocarina of Time 3D. They
Hmm.
did that with the game.
Yes, that was really
That was
cool. I
cool.
liked that.
Or even Skyward Sword did it also when you can get items. Even you can even get items like the Alien Shield. But I mean, just being having a way to fight bosses like another time or a couple of times again. I refight bosses. I mean, that's the thing that should be in the game and could actually make the game replayable a little bit more. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, especially
that was one of my favorite things about Donkey Kong 64.
yeah,
Like that's the first game that I can think of that I had played that had that, where it's just after you beat a boss, you can go in the menu and just fight it again.
yeah, that's
It's really cool.
that'd be totally cool actually. But also, I want something because I realized in the games there's like the main dungeons of the game, and you go to dungeon, you get the boss, and then you go to another dungeon, you get the boss. But I mean, there's like I don't know, I mean, for example, if the game has 9 dungeons, you're probably gonna get 9 bosses plus the final one. And I think we should also get bosses in side dungeons. Like, because the thing is, the side dungeons are great, but like we got in the game. But I don't want a cave of ordeals, you know. I want a real
Hmm.
dungeon design, a true dungeon, maybe smaller, maybe, but I do want a dungeon to feel like a dungeon, even though it's just a side quest. And at the end,
Yeah.
there's a boss, maybe a new boss that we haven't seen. But I don't want to fight the Lizzo Falls at the end just because it's a.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight a boss. And even though it's like you can go and put the same boss, but that'd be kind of pointless because I'd be like, why there's 2 bosses the same? I don't know. Maybe not the same boss, or maybe the same boss with a twist. I don't know, but at least
Yeah, like its brother or
yeah.
something.
But
And it's like super ticked at you because you killed the other one.
yeah, but because I played some games where there's like maybe around 8 to 7. It's an action RPG, but there's actually like around 8 bosses in the game, but there is there's 8 boss. It's just the boss design in the game because boss characters, but there is around 20 bosses. But half
Hmm.
of these bosses are the same boss, but with just different colors. So
Yeah, I can think of one like that. It was, oh, Radiant Historia,
okay, I haven't played that one,
which
but
oh,
yeah,
it's a great game. It was on the DS,
okay.
but it is like the one you described, an action RPG, and it had these bosses that were very, very similar to each other toward the end of the game mostly,
Hmm.
but they were different in like a few ways that kept it interesting, except with some of them where it's like they're just too similar. Like there were these giant spider bosses,
Okay.
and there isn't really much you can do to make a giant spider different,
Yeah.
especially in like an RPG style fight,
Yeah.
because you
Totally.
can name it a different move, but it's just a spider does something, does damage.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same. I feel. I feel you. But yeah, that's. But like, I don't want these. I don't want this to happen to Zelda. So I want maybe like you can create maybe different bosses, like totally different bosses and unique bosses
Hmm.
for these side dungeons. And I could relate to the side quests, like we talked before, and the side quests and the rewards and the consequences and all these things you can actually get. But I actually there's also stuff that these dungeon should actually focus on is not But well, I said it earlier, but I just want to focus on it a little bit more on it. I don't want a cave of deals. I don't want to have it like 50 times, 50 stage of enemies for like what fairies on in a spring,
Yeah.
and a bottle of fairy stairs. I mean, okay, but I just did it because I did it. You know, I don't think the rewards were um, really that great. So I want the rewards to be really worthy of the dungeons. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't want to. Well, okay, a piece of art is great. I mean, okay, that's one of the things you like want in the game because you want a full artists and all thing. But I mean, I want more than just a piece of art. I want maybe you can get unique items like we talked before, the grapple arrow, or you can get some stuff for your gear in these dungeons instead of just like rupees or a bottle
Yeah.
or something. I mean, bigger stuff. I mean that bigger game, bigger stuff. That's what.
And you mentioned rupees, and since we're technically still on the subject of what we don't want
Yeah.
in the next Zelda game, rupee limits. Why? Like, there is no reason. With all the stuff Link can fit with him, there's no reason he should have a rupee limit at all.
I
It's not like the game can't count that high, because it can.
yeah
Even in Link to the Past, it could count to 1,000,000 minus one,
yeah.
and that was just how much it would count your rupees. I know because when I beat the game, it says how much of this you used, how many rupees you gathered, and the rupees was just straight nines, 1,000,000 minus one. So
Yeah,
I know they can count that high. There's no reason I can't have a limitless wallet,
yeah.
or at least significantly less limited.
Yeah, of course. At least the four numbers. At least,
Yeah.
because that's what I actually aided in a couple of games, especially Twilight Princess. Because when you well, not in the remake because they fixed it, but in the first game
Mhm.
when you had to close a chest because
I
you
know,
didn't have
all
the.
the
I mean,
time.
like, yeah, you saved me money in a way, I guess, but I want it right now.
Yeah, if it had been like earlier in the series, that would have been great. But now they don't really need to do that.
Nah,
Just give us a bigger wallet.
yeah, that's it. Or at least, I mean, if you don't want me to get the money, you don't want me to lose the rupees I just got because I may have made a mistake by opening the chest, even though I pressed A myself.
Hmm.
I mean, or at least I don't know, have a bank somewhere like in Majora's Mask, like
Yeah, that would
you
be
have
really
you're
cool.
full on rupees. Well, the rupees are going
Just
straight to the bank,
deposit them.
or at least the rupees you take from a chest are going straight to the bank if you're full on.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
something.
like a wireless, some kind of magical
Yeah.
direct deposit.
Yeah, well, we have magical arrows and magical stuff in the
Yeah,
game.
why
Why
not?
not? I guess that.
A magical stamp that tells how much money you've collected despite time travel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If that works, I mean, why couldn't it work? I mean, it could work. Uh,
Or maybe he just has a bird that'll like run and get the money for you.
yeah, why not?
You know,
Totally.
he'll give you like a flute, and you open a chest. There's 100 rupees in there that you can't hold. Just play the flute,
That's
and
it.
here comes the bird.
There you go. We found the solution. Yeah,
And for anyone who says, well, maybe why should a bird be able to hear you from all the way across the planet? Well, Link to the Past did it, so we can do it again.
oh yeah, we can definitely do it. um, yeah. Well, about the. Do you have anything else to say about your fears of the game, or you pretty much?
I think, with bombs and the boomerang, I feel like they never quite get their justice done for them. Because, like, not bombs specifically, but the bomb chew.
Yeah.
The bomb chew, I don't think, has ever been done properly. Because it's really hard to aim with that thing.
Hmm.
So, something they could do, especially if this is going to be something on the Wii U, is they can make it so that once you set a bomb chew free, you can control it with the gamepad.
Yeah.
Kind of like how you can control the ships in the new Star Fox.
Yeah.
And then you can like have it go like a kamikaze drone, so it goes exactly where you want it.
Mm.
Even if it's like an upgrade that you have to get later on, or you have to buy for really expensive whatever, like the bomb shoes were in Ocarina, I think that would make them really worth it and would just be more fun to do. And as far as the boomerang goes, I don't know why. It's one of those items that I don't feel like it gets done well enough, either because it's not useful enough,
Hmm.
or else it's too useful in a way. Like in Phantom Hourglass, where you can draw a path for the boomerang,
Hmm.
it's like it's really hard to use it in a way that doesn't feel like cheating. Because if you try to just throw it on a line path to wherever, it's probably not going to hit whatever you're trying to hit. It'll have moved away by then.
Hmm.
So instead, what I end up doing is just drawing a giant scribble around where that thing is probably going to be, and then I throw the boomerang,
Yeah.
and it'll just move around there like crazy until the enemy flies into it. And it feels like I'm cheating. I don't know how to fix this problem, but the boomerang needs to be fixed, or else just gotten rid of.
Yeah, totally. That's really interesting though, because what you said about the bombs and the boomerang, and yeah, that's actually I didn't think of it that way, but now that you say it, that's really interesting.
Mhm.
Uh, but I mean, there's also an item. What it's not the item itself, but it's the item system in Zelda. Well, mostly recently, especially Twilight Princess, because Skyward Sword was kind of good with that. But Twilight Princess, like mostly the dungeon items, as soon as you're out of the dungeon, well, most of the items, a couple of items, they're not useful at all. Or
The
the
spinner,
spinner, yeah,
which
definitely,
was really cool in the dungeon. It's like you get that, especially fighting the boss.
yeah,
It's like, oh wow, this thing is so awesome. I can't wait to get out of here and use it to go all around. And then it's like, nope,
yeah.
you will never use this again.
Yeah, that's kind of was kind of disappointing, honestly. There was a couple of places you can use it to get the chest, but that's it. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't great. I mean, I want to kill. I want to use it to kill enemies. I want to use it to reach places that like
Mhm.
more than just for chest. Maybe a cave. Maybe something I could actually went for or another. Like
Even if it was just an upgrade to make it like the all-terrain spinner.
yeah,
And just so that you can use it in more places, because if you think about it, like it can only be used in these super specific places where there's these tracks for it,
yeah,
and it's like, who put those there, and
exactly.
how long has it been since that happened? Because seriously,
Yeah.
it seems like no one knows about this. It's got these really wacky land formations. It's like it seems like it's been a significant amount of time, enough for like this hill at least to get eroded away, so that the only way to reach it is with the spinner. So it's like, why would these tracks have lasted so long? It just raises more questions than you should think about with such a silly item.
Yeah, totally. Especially because you could have actually put some of these tracks in the future dungeon, like in the ice dungeon, and like make it at least useful for something else that other than just the desert, like the Arbiter's ground. Maybe like in the mansion, ice mansion, maybe just put trails there that we need to get to like for a puzzle or maybe for the yeah, in Arrow Castle we used it for, like I think to climb up at the end, but that's it. I mean,
Hmm.
just well, at least they did that with it. But I mean, use it in another dungeon or use it for something else other than just that boss and that dungeon.
Yeah. Another potential with the spinner is just that you could have it so it kind of hijacks things that were there for something else, like maybe a train track,
Yeah,
or just something that you wouldn't suspect until you get the spinner.
totally.
And then it's like, oh my gosh, I can use this thing outside of the dungeon to get places, and it's on like this useful path that goes from point A to point B.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with that. I mean, there's a lot. Well, at first I thought about the ball and chain too, that it wasn't really useful except for doing extreme damage. But I mean, it
Hmm.
was kind of slow. So would you actually take the time to put the item out just to kill a moblin? I mean, just swing one sword or slash or two and he's dead. So I mean, it's kind of faster.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, but I started using it against well, I don't know if they're called Redeads and Twilight Princess, but these like the version of the Redeads, like the ones with the big sword, and when this
The Stal or I want to say Stalfos.
but like,
Um.
the one with they scream at you when you get you can't move. I think it is.
Okay. Yeah, redeads. It's just
It's
redeads.
Redeads, yeah, because well, the Redeads
Because
of Twilight Princess, but I think the best item to use against these guys is really the ball and chain. I think it's actually really easy to kill them. In the Cave of the Ordeals, I think it's the thing that saved me the most. I mean, there's five in
yeah,
a row. Just when you it's it's two shot with the ball and chain to kill them. So you just throw it. It does one shot, and when it comes back to you, it's another shot. So they die instantly.
yeah. At least in Ocarina we had the Sun Song.
Yeah. Also, that was great too. So they need to actually put more uses to more purposes to the items, not just the bow, like we think it could actually be the case in this game. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I said about that. But also, what do you actually expect to see and learn about the game at E3 this year? Like, what do you expect them to actually show us?
Well, one thing that I had read was that they were going to have a playable demo, and they were going to let 500 people who sign up early enough or whatever play that there, and they were also going to show other people playing it. And I think that could be a good way to get us a feel of at least what the game looks like. Because right now, all we've really gotten is art and rumor. And that's not really something that's super great to go on, because if you think about Zelda past, we got like Wind Waker. When that had just art and rumor to go on, it looked like it was going to be a bit more Twilight Princess
Hmm.
because of how serious it looked, and everything just completely turned on its head by the time the game actually got out.
Yeah.
Or like with I I want to say Link's Awakening had a map very similar to Link to the Past
Hmm.
in some concept art, and it turned out to not end up too much like that at all. It got very changed.
Yeah.
So seeing an actual demo getting played would be a way to solidify things more effectively than just looking at art or a video that they make about it, because if they do that they could change things more easily, whereas with a demo it takes a lot more work.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I expect to see the same thing, as you said, and I kind of feel the same way too. But I think we should actually get a name this time around.
Oh yeah,
I
a name for the game would definitely be nice
Yeah,
instead of just Zelda U.
Zelda U kind of that would be
It's catchy, but
sketch.
it's not a full name.
Yeah, I think we just got used to it because we used that since
Yeah.
the reveal. But the only thing that actually, because I remember when they used the like Super Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS. I think well, it, yes, it was like not it doesn't look like it's really original, but at least it's like a pun with four because it's the fourth game. So I
Mhm.
guess it's like okay, 4 and then Wii U and 3DS. So it's not that bad that way, but
Yeah.
for Zelda, I
I
mean
actually hadn't thought of that pun. I like that.
I mean maybe it wasn't
But
intentional, but
maybe.
it is a pun and maybe
I
it's
suppose it would have been different in Japanese.
yeah, maybe though. I don't know at all for this though. Well, at least it's a pun for us. But
I'm a sucker for puns, so I'm gonna accept it anyway.
that's all right. But for Zelda, I mean, the only thing that could be well, that would positively surprise me is if the game is called The Legend of Zelda and that's it. That would actually be really surprise, because I mean, the first game is called The Legend of Zelda, already. So I don't know what would that mean if the next game is also called that way. But at the same time, I think the game was called Hyrule Fantasy. I think the first one. Um, I think it was the Hyrule Fantasy, The Legend of Zelda, or something like that. But yeah, I think that the next game with only The Legend of Zelda could actually expect to see a reboot of the series. That I don't know at all. But I actually want the game to expand on something we already know, but we
Hmm.
don't know a lot about it. Like, like we said before, the whole before Twilight Princess, there's a lot of stuff there that could be really, really expanded and should actually. There's a lot of stuff you can do there at this
Yeah,
the
there's so
place.
much potential with
Yeah,
just everything.
yeah, totally. And I think like just the name could actually tell us a lot of things about the game itself. So if
Hmm.
we get, I don't know, something with because the game should, I think the game is gonna have something with a Sheikah personally, because of the
Hmm.
symbol, and also because in Ocarina of Time there's, well, yes, we get to know Impa and Sheik, who is technically Zelda, but that's the only Sheik we ever seen ever in Zelda. And
Yeah, other than that, they're really just vaguely alluded.
yeah, but the thing is, if they're there, if they are in the game as a tribe or as a community of people, why would, if the game is before Twilight Princess, why are they not in Ocarina of Time? And that's the thing that makes me think maybe it's before before Ocarina of Time, sorry. But I mean, I don't know about that because that's the only thing that could make the game a Ocarina of Time prequel, and that's it. That's the only thing
Hmm.
I can think of. But other than that, there's not a lot of Sheikah. But the only place I remember, maybe I'm making a mistake right now, but the only timeline where there's Sheikahs is in the child timeline. I think, I'm not sure, because in the downfall timeline, I don't think there is, and well, they don't talk about it. I mean, I'm not sure.
One thing that I notice is like when Impa says in Ocarina that she's the last of the Sheikah, I kind of don't buy it.
I kind of don't.
Personally, I feel like she might be like lying just so that people don't go looking for the Sheikah, and because she's a person of such high influence, they
Yeah.
believe her. And my main reason for this is that Impa appears in other Zelda games in actually the Downfall timeline,
Yeah.
where
You're right.
she's in Zelda 1, she's mentioned in Zelda 2, she is in the Oracle series,
Yeah.
and the Oracle series is with the Link from Link to the Past. And there's another Impa in Link Between Worlds. And I feel like this is probably not the same person, considering the vast time scale between many of these games. And why would a bunch of non-Sheikah be using a Sheikah name? It just doesn't seem like something that would be too common among
Yeah.
the
But
Hylians.
at the same time, you said maybe she's not the same person. But at the same time, in Scarlet Sword, there was a lot of time between the past and the present, and it was still the same person. But uh,
Yeah, but there's a noticeable
yeah, oh
difference
yeah,
between her then.
totally. But I mean, yeah, yeah. So now that you see it, I'm sure yeah. I don't buy it either now.
Yeah, and if you think about it, at the very least, we know there has to be two Impas, because old Impa at the end of Skyward Sword definitely did not live long enough to see Link Between Worlds.
Oh yeah, sure. There's no doubt about
That's
that.
yeah, honest.
Well, sure, there's no doubt about that. um, yeah, but there's
In fact, I suppose three,
yeah,
because Ocarina Impa is definitely a lot younger than her as well.
yeah, no, definitely, yeah, you're right. But maybe because that's legit too, because um, in Ocarina of Time, Impa, like you said, she said she was the last one of her kind, even though maybe she isn't, because we don't buy it. But um, that means that, well, like you said, she doesn't want anyone to go after the Sheikahs, and that's actually that makes sense because there was a war before the Ocarina of Time, I
Hmm.
believe, and some of the Sheikahs or there are many like the dark people, whatever. They went to the Shadow Temple, and that's why there's all this thing about the shadow and the darkness and all these theories around it too. But
Perhaps why it's so filled with traps.
yeah, filled with traps. Sorry, twaps, traps and blood and yeah. So that makes things like the true Sheikah people are like hiding, and they don't want to be executed. They don't want to be persecuted by people. They don't want to get bullied by other villagers because they're gonna get like accused of what they did not do, in fact, because there wasn't like maybe there's been a dark like a small group of people between the Sheikas that had dark ideas. They went insane. They were bad people, but at the same time there was the good Sheikas, the good people, the I don't want to say it, but like there was two kind of people in the Sheikas, the bad one and the good ones. The good ones went to hide because they didn't want to get killed for what the bad ones did. So,
and I don't want to get too far off the beaten path, but I am going to say the Sheikas were meant to be like the kind of protectors of the Hylian royal family.
yeah.
And if you read in the graveyard, it's basically dedicated to their fallen soldiers. So it wouldn't make sense to me that they would have all like been in this war against Hyrule. Those of them who weren't basically going against their duty, I feel like they would have just kind of left so as to not die.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense to me to say that they're hiding somewhere, just waiting for the right time to come back and do their job.
Yeah. I agree with that. That makes sense. Totally makes sense. You said that you maybe add some stuff about the items. So what do you think about the items of the game exactly? What do you like? What items are gonna come back, and what are the new design, new stuff, and
Well, again, hoping for the magic sword potentially. As far as smaller items go,
yeah.
let's see. I already mentioned the boomerang and the bomb.
The items should like I think I want a lot of items because I think in Scarlet Sword there wasn't a lot. There was like I think 12 or
Yeah.
12 I think, right? I don't know, but there wasn't a lot of items. In Twilight Princess there was maybe too much items because some of them became useless, like we said. But I think they can find a way to use as much items as in Twilight Princess, but make them all useful. Because
Yeah, I think something that you could do is like if they want to have a lot of items, which would be great because different people are going to like different items. Maybe have an item bank.
yeah,
Or like a storage chest at your house where you can put away items that you don't want to keep with you.
maybe Epona is gonna be
And
that.
then-
Maybe Epona has because she has saddlebags, so maybe.
Oh yeah, saddlebags have literally never been used, so why not?
Why not? Because I mean that could be a thing, honestly. It's like the I kind of forgot what I was supposed to say, but it's the about the items. It's oh damn it, I kind of forgot. Well, when I kind of tried to remember it, what you're about to say about the items, maybe you got some stuff to say.
Well, I kind of said all I thought up about the items, mostly because I think, in general, most of the items in the Zelda games are pretty solid.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just that either they don't get brought back, or there's something that does it better.
Mhm.
But one thing that I really liked from the Oracle series was the seed shooter.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know if you've played the Oracle series, but
I'm playing.
for anyone
I'm
who hasn't,
playing right now, so.
oh yeah, I have not beaten either of them yet.
uh,
One of them I just kind of got bored, and the other one I got super stuck. But it happens.
so,
But the seed shooter, I love that thing
mhm.
because it's just like it's almost comical if you think about how some of these things work. Like the gale seeds make this tornado,
Yeah.
and then the scent seeds just make it so that monsters will group around that thing, which it's useful and it's in a unique and different way.
Yeah. Totally.
And it was a slingshot in one of the other Oracle games, but it's basically the same item. and that was definitely the most useful incarnation of the slingshot ever seen.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because
And
yeah.
I think the more varied ammunition would be good if they're going to bring the slingshot in at all. Because if you think about like Twilight Princess, you get the slingshot, you use it for a very small portion of the
Yeah,
game, and it's replaced by the
you
bow.
don't use it ever
Never
again.
use it.
I never used it ever again. I mean,
And then in the Cave of Ordeals, they give you pumpkin seeds.
yeah. Why?
Why?
Why? You don't.
I bet the producers had a good laugh about that. Like, what should we put in the Cave of Ordeals here? Pumpkin
Yeah.
seeds?
Hey, you go. Here, pumpkin seeds, but you're already
Horrible.
full slingshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But
Just put those back.
there's one thing. Like I kind of well, I hope it's back, or at least in the same way at it is in games where Epona is some a way to call Epona. So maybe the Ors call, I think that's the name is in Twilight Princess. That was a good item because you don't have these the Epona grass or these kind of
Yeah.
to call them everywhere. So you can use it, but you get it so much late in the game. I mean, you could have gotten in at like at the beginning of the game or around the beginning. So
Yeah, like in Ocarina, you
yeah.
can get Epona's song before you can even get Epona.
Yeah, because I think it's pretty much useless by the time you get it. I mean, you're gonna use it just when you're roaming around Hyrule Field, or else you're already in the Hyrule Castle and that you finish the game.
Yeah,
And
it's like it's just a way to slow you down.
yeah, it's. I mean, that quest was that was a great side quest. I liked it, but
Mhm.
the reward was great. That was an item. That's exactly what I want. An item instead of just rupees at the end of the quest. But
Yeah.
that was not a useful item at this moment. I
Though if you think about it, if you'd had it earlier, we'd probably get none of the golden bugs.
Yeah, you're right. You're right though. You're right. But but I mean, yeah, there's reason for everything. But at the same time, I mean, it was still too late to get for
Yeah.
getting it because at the point of time you're already done with the game or mostly done. So I mean,
Why can't Link just keep that grass with him?
yeah, keep it in the bag and that's it.
It's like, oh, I just used this small key that'll open any door in the dungeon. I used it on this one door. Maybe I won't leave it in the lock this time.
Yeah, why not? That's great. Well, in Zelda 1 you had I think it's Zelda 1 Zelda 2 you had a master key. I think or Zelda 1 2 I don't remember the one. The first two games you had a master key. I think it's the first one or the second one.
I've beaten the first dungeon in both of them and never got farther.
Okay. Well, I'm sure it's.
I don't know why. It's like this pattern with me. I'll start a Zelda game, I'll get some progress, and then I won't beat it. The only ones I've really beaten are Ocarina, Majora, Minish Cap, which is like amazing in my
Yeah, it's
opinion.
really really underrated.
And yeah, I think that's it.
No.
Oh, and Wind Waker,
Yeah.
which is my second favorite, tied with Ocarina.
Yeah. Well, Wind Waker was well. I don't want to get too far away from the subject, but
Yeah.
Wind Waker was actually the only. Well, there's Majora's Mask 2 because of the time, because I wasn't aware of the reverse Song of Time, so I just tried to play the game with normal
Whoa.
time flow, and I always managed to finish the first dungeon and then die. So
Oh, that must be brutal.
that was brutal. I was like, I don't get it. I just never got into the game until I played the remake, and like I learned there was a song to slow time. I was like, ah.
Yeah, one of the scarecrows tells you about it, but he doesn't say it's the Song of Time backwards. He just says there's this song that'll reverse
Yeah, but
the flow of time, make it.
the thing is, I was young and
Yeah.
I'm not a native English speaker, so I don't speak English. It's not my it's not my first language. So when I was young, I didn't understand at all what he was saying. I was like, oh, it's gibberish, blah 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 blah. So I just like, okay,
He's a scarecrow.
it's a scarecrow. It's Mr. Scarecrow.
What does he have to say that's important?
Yeah. So I just never learned about the song. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Man. If...
That would make the game significantly less fun.
That was brutal. That was. I dare anyone to try it. That's really, really brutal.
Speedrunners, beware.
Yeah. And yeah, Wind Waker was because I didn't have the fast
The Swift
Swift
Sail?
Sail, yeah. Because the first game, I didn't get it to the game because I was like, it's kind of annoying to just like stop the boat, turn the wind around, go with the boat.
Yeah.
I was kind of annoyed with that, but then when they did the remake, I was still annoyed by it. But as soon as I got the Swift Sail as soon as I could, so then it was okay. I was like, okay, that's great.
Personally, I never really got annoyed with the sailing in Wind Waker. I was just too amazed by it at the time.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I wasn't even that young. I was like 15,
yeah,
and it was just so awesome to me.
yeah. The game is really cool.
But
I like it.
but yeah, I think we should probably get a bit back on
Yeah,
track.
yeah, yeah.
There
Totally.
was something I wanted to
Yeah,
mention
go for
when
it.
we were talking about E3,
Yeah.
where things that I want to see there. There's one thing I wanted to see in Zelda for a while that there's no excuse at this point. A dungeon maker,
Oh,
like Zelda 1 style dungeon maker,
yeah, yeah. Oh,
because
that'd be
they got
great.
Mario Maker now. And an interesting trivia fact about Zelda 1 is that originally there weren't going to be those dungeons. At first, the dungeons were going to be a dungeon maker where people could make a dungeon to play through themselves or to have their friends play through it. And the game developers found out that playing the dungeons was more fun than exploring the world above. And so they added in the dungeons to the main game,
Wow.
and it became what we know and love today. And so I think the fact that they were already creating this dungeon maker, 25 years ago now,
Mhm.
says that they could have definitely gotten it out by now, especially now that they have Mario Maker.
Yeah, they could definitely do it. Of course.
I mean, of course, there are going to be those people who will make those horrifying levels of death, but
You go.
it'll be worth it for the cool levels and the recreations of the 3D levels in 2D. Just
Yeah.
whatever people want to do. Nintendo, make this already.
Please, we want it right now. No,
I want
yeah,
it yesteryear.
yeah. That'd be actually really awesome. See those levels, like you spawn in a room, get the here's a big square room, no enemies, and a key right in the middle. Take it, and just like 20 dodongos just spawn in. You're like, oh my god, and you.
People would do that.
I would.
No, they do it. I imagine like there would be someone who makes it so that you have to jump as you're grabbing the key because the floor
Oh,
is going to fall away immediately, except in one spot.
oh my god,
And then you have to be jumping to that spot as you get the key.
and no
Like,
checkpoints.
people will do such horrible stuff.
And no checkpoints. That
Like, if anyone ever wonders why we think people would do this, apparently you haven't played Mario Maker.
Hey, if we already thought of it, somebody already did too before us. That's sure.
Yeah, I know other people have thought about the Zelda Maker because I heard people talking about it before. It deserves emphasis.
Yeah, honestly, it deserves to have. We deserve a Zelda Maker, especially because we're not getting anything for the 30th anniversary. I think it's kind of sad. I'm kind of disappointed with that because I would have at least something like a Zelda Maker would do the job. Honestly, would
Yeah, and it's something
totally.
they could do very quickly.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that. I mean, yeah, you still have to make a game, but it's not that as hard as making a full Zelda game, you know. And I think.
And also, they could use the amiibos for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they can definitely do.
Give the Sheik amiibo some use.
Yeah. Why not? You can play a Sheik in Zelda 1. Let's go.
I can just imagine this cute little Zelda 1 style Sheik sprite.
Yeah.
That would be adorable.
That'd be awesome. We saw one in Hyrule Warriors, so they already have the things are already done, so they can do it. I'm sure they can. They just need to do it. They just need it. I think I'm sure it's gonna sell like hotcakes. It's gonna say so quick. Sure.
And one other thing that they could do specifically for Zelda U
Yeah.
is bring in a side game thing where, like they did with Link Between Worlds, you can fight other people's Link. Except maybe have it so instead of being you're fighting a computer-controlled version of that person's Link, you could actually fight other people as Link, just Link versus Link online.
Yeah.
And that would be really cool, in my opinion.
I think yeah.
because it would take everything I liked about the Link Between Worlds version of that and just bring it into 3D and make it live. Like that would be so amazing.
I think that'd be great, honestly. Yeah, that'd be original. I never thought about that, but yeah, that'd be a great thing. Like bad, like you just like. Do you want it to work like style arena style, or maybe like in Dark Souls where you just spawn somewhere on the map and you find the other Link and you just fight. What kind of like you talk about it, but
Well, I feel like they would have to do it in a more arena style, just because they need to keep it to where it can be played online,
yeah,
and you don't want to have both things constantly transferring information between each other about rendering the entirety of Hyrule Field.
yeah, you're right. It makes
So
sense.
it would make more sense to put it in an arena,
Yeah,
and that's probably why whenever I think about this, I imagine Link versus Link battles from Soul Calibur 2,
yeah,
which was
that
just so fun. Link was my favorite character in that game. I literally went through the entire main quest as Link, just because I wanted to play it as a Zelda game.
I actually, when I played the game, I actually only used Link too, so it was only.
For me, it was mostly the Megaton Hammer and the Cane of Paxi.
I didn't own the game, so I just played it a couple of times, but yeah,
Yeah, I borrowed it from a friend.
that game was awesome. From the time I played it, that was great. Great time, good game. Yeah, I know what we talk about. There's something I don't want. We talked about the fears of the game earlier, but I just forgot
Mhm.
something that I should really had. I really don't. Well, we saw it in the game once, and I really don't, and really don't want a leveling system in the game. I don't know about you, but I don't want a leveling system. I mean, I want upgrades, I want stuff like that. It's all right, but I don't want a level because I think it's gonna.
Yeah.
Because
As a person who has really tried at Zelda 2, I can say that I agree with you.
yeah, I played Zelda 2. I completed it a couple of times, but it's actually I don't like it because you have to grind and everything. But the
I
most
know.
thing is because they want to make an open world. They want you to do the dungeon in any order, well at least mostly I guess. But they want it to be more less linear. So if they actually put a leveling system in that, I mean it's not gonna be
Yeah, it would be basically impossible to
yeah,
do
because
it
you're
in
gonna go. You're level one. You go in a dungeon with level 55 monster. You're like
it just wouldn't
you
work.
just can't do anything. It's even you're the best, you can't do anything. So
Hmm.
it it kind of screws up the purpose of the open world. So I don't want to have. I don't think there is gonna be a leveling system. But
They haven't done it since Zelda 2,
yeah,
so I would imagine they
they
wouldn't.
wouldn't, but it's still like maybe they could do like something similar that makes you get to do more damage and more you need the you because
Yeah, just upgrading items.
upgrade items. I mean, because you could totally do level 7 first in Zelda 1 if you're good enough. Level 8, even I don't know if it's level 8 or level 9 the last one, but like you can do the last dungeon before the first one if you are actually really good, but
Yeah,
you'll need
you can get to Ganon without the sword.
yeah, but you need real skill. So you need to be really good at the game, and I don't want to be restricted by levels. So like in Witcher
Yeah,
3, I mean, in Witcher 3, I played a little bit of the game. I think I'm kind of good at the game, but I just couldn't go anywhere because I was getting killed in one shot by enemies because they were too high levels. So I'm like,
hmm
that's it's kind of boring because it's open world, but as soon as you go out of your own level zone, you're dead. So that's it's kind of
yeah,
pointless to have an open world if you can't go anywhere beside unless you get killed every time. So I think Zelda the next Zelda game should have a balance in the overworld, but at the same time they should actually because they did a little bit in Twilight Princess with the difficulty. Well, it's okay. It wasn't that big of a difference, but it's still something. Because I remember, I realized that one of the monsters, I don't know the names, but the blue guys with the like the first guys you see in the game, uh,
Bokoblins.
Bokoblins, I think. Well, not the green guys, but the blue, like the one with the
They're like moblins but skinnier.
Yeah, there's ones. Yeah, well,
Yeah, those are
yeah,
bokoblins.
okay, Bokoblins, that's right. Okay, so because there's blue one and I think there's like a pink one at some point. But these guys, there was like the blue one is weaker and is like the one you said at
Hmm.
the beginning of the game. They're the one roaming around Hyrule Field, and as soon as you
Yeah,
get the Master Sword, it's now the pink ones that are the on Hyrule Field, and it's now the stronger version of these enemies. So I mean, having stronger enemies on the field could actually be a lot more fun unless except like I don't want to be at the end of the game and just roam around like those weak enemies and just don't
hmm
care. I want to feel like not scared, but I want to feel like I need to get there. I need to stay alive going
and
there
you need
to
to pay attention.
yeah, because
It's not like in Majora's Mask where as soon as you can become a Goron or as soon as you just get Epona, you're invincible.
yeah, that's yeah.
Because once you can become a Goron, you can just roll anywhere and nothing can touch you. Even the things that can hurt you are way too slow. And with Epona, you're literally invincible. Like I mean, it was funny sometimes. Like I would just get on Epona, go to where the Dodongos are,
Yeah.
and then just walk around them until I like can step on their tail. Because you can't get hurt in Majora's Mask when you're on Epona.
Yeah.
At least not in the original. I don't know if that changed in the
I
three,
never tried, so I don't know. But
but it
yeah.
was it was like it felt cheap, but it felt like so much fun doing it just because of how much I hate fighting Dodongos,
Yeah,
especially like in an enclosed space or where there's like so many of them in a small area. It's annoying.
yeah, definitely. But the I want like maybe even you go far in the game, you couldn't actually even put like the mini bosses if they're not too big, unless it's like a big lava monster. But if it's just
Mhm.
a strong enemy, they could even put these guys in the field. I mean, why not? It's a mini boss. It's not like it's a boss. Or maybe you can even put bosses, like we saw one in. Well, I don't know if it's just an enemy or a boss, but it looks like a boss, the one in the
Mhm.
trailer. But put these strong guys in the field would actually be a lot more fun than just these retarded.
Yeah, and maybe it's like if it's not going to be a boss, if it's going to be like a regular monster that can happen multiple times, maybe have there be a reason for why it happens.
Yeah,
Kind of like in Ocarina, where there were certain enemies, if you fought and killed enough of them in a short amount of time, then a giant one would appear. I remember this was the case with the Stalfos children in Hyrule Field,
hmm
and I'm pretty sure with the Dodongo larva in the Dodongo's cavern.
I never tried. I just run past them. But yeah,
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that was a thing. They weren't any tougher, but they were bigger, and it looked cool.
yeah,
So I can imagine like just something where if you do this specific thing, then this enemy will come out,
yeah,
and you gotta fight them, whatever it is. Maybe there's a sign tells you not to do something, and you're like, well, they're always telling me not to do the thing I should do. So then you do it, and it turns out that unless you wanted to fight a giant monster, you actually shouldn't have done it for once.
yeah. I agree.
Keep us on our toes a bit.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, one last thing. I know I'm jumping from subject to subject, but do you actually probably yes, but do you trust in Nintendo like that they can actually make the game as good as they seem to make like they seem to be doing right now? Because they say it's a big open world, you can reach these mountains in the far back of the screen when you show them, you can do that, you can do dodge in any order. Do you think it's gonna be as great as they think it's going to be, or do you think it's gonna be like a little bit overhyped a little bit, or
Well, as far as it being possible, they could definitely do it. Whether they do or not is debatable because there have been times where they've exceeded our expectations or even like exceeded when there were no expectations, like with Majora's Mask. And then there have been other times where we think it's going to be amazing and it's not quite as good as it could have been, like Twilight Princess. And so I really think it could go either way. I prefer to be cautiously optimistic myself, but I'm going to say it's probably going to be good because I don't think Nintendo would say specifically how it's going to be good if they weren't already in the works for making it like that. And I know with like Star Fox 64, they said a few things that, it sounded good when they were saying it, but then in reality, it turned out to be not super great, like with the switching between gamepad screen and TV screen and the different controls between that. It sounds like a good idea, but then turns out not to be so great in practice. But I feel like if they learn from their mistakes and listen and take to heart what people are saying they should and shouldn't do, then it can be really good. Because one thing that I know about Nintendo is that they have this tendency of giving us what we didn't know we wanted.
Hmm.
And because of that, I feel like they can do something with this that we would never expect and just make it the most amazing thing in the world.
Yeah.
Slight exaggeration, but you get what I'm
No,
saying.
I totally get it. Yeah. Um, because there's something I actually just thought of. Because makes me I don't know if it's necessarily related to that, but there's a rumors about the game that because we're talking about people, what people want and what people don't want, and uh the rumor about that you could actually choose the sex or the gender of your character. Do you think that, because I don't want to get in debate about like girl or sexism, feminism. I don't want to get in any problem with that. So I think we can avoid that thing. But the thing I want to talk about this though, that I think it's safe to talk about it. It's um, if the rumors are true, how do you think Nintendo can actually make it fit? Because we know there's a timeline in the game, of course. So what could they actually do to make it fit in the timeline, and make it fit, like, to find a reason as to why it's a character and not why it's the girl or the boy. If it's a girl, I mean, Link has always been a boy, of course. So,
Well, the
oh,
way I see it,
yeah,
Link is this reincarnating hero. And, you've probably watched Avatar The Last Airbender,
yeah,
and that's another reincarnating hero, but it doesn't reincarnate to the same gender every single time. And I think it's reasonable to say that they could do the same thing with Link. And sure, we've always seen Link as a guy before, but that doesn't mean he always has to be. And if we're given an option between one or the other, then I don't think an explanation is really necessary. It's just, do you want to play as a girl or a boy? It's like in
yeah,
Pokemon, it doesn't make a difference which one you pick. In Mass Effect, it doesn't make a difference which one you pick. It's just, well, okay, in Mass Effect there's a slight difference, and in some of the Pokemon games, but it's not significant.
hmm. Well, I agree.
And I think for The Legend of Zelda, it could totally be an option. I don't think it's important enough that there has to be any sort of controversy over it, because Link isn't supposed to be a character who's just for boys. In as much as nothing Nintendo is solely meant for boys. I know, like, there had been this stereotype for video games that they're meant for boys, and there's specific reasoning for why that happened that it would take a bit too long to get into, but the long and the short of it is that it doesn't really matter. And the reason Link never talks is because we're supposed to be able to project ourselves onto him.
Yeah,
And it would be easier to do that if from the beginning of the game you're able to pick if he's a boy or a girl. And if you think about it, Link's design in a lot of
yeah,
ways has been, what people might call gender neutral or gender fluid, where, yeah, he's a boy. It's pretty
yeah. He
obvious.
doesn't. He
But
looks
this is a
feminine.
boy
Yeah.
with he has a pretty high pitched
Mm-hmm.
voice. He's got pretty long hair. and he's wearing a tunic, which to many might look like a skirt. So, it's always been a character
Mhm.
that girls could relate to. Girls can very easily cosplay as Link. So, since there's so little of a barrier with his character to begin with, why not just take down the two bricks that are sitting there and say, okay, you can pick your character? I mean, anyone who's against it, I say, why does it really matter?
Mhm. No, I totally agree with that. I wouldn't mind a female Link. The only thing I just like, I just don't want. The only thing that I wouldn't want them to do is put it there just to please the people who wants a girl character. Put it there because you want to put it there because you think it's better for the players to put it there. Just because, not because you like. Okay, so it's gonna be like people are gonna be happy because there's a lot of social stuff around today, but
Yeah.
just put it,
Just don't make it too big of a deal,
yeah, just make it. Yeah,
basically.
that's it. Yeah, don't put it there just because you want to avoid problems. Put it there because you,
Don't make it a gimmick.
yeah, just because,
Like Ghostbusters.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Put it there because you want to. If the fans are pleased, then alright, that's a bonus. But do it because you want to put it there. That's the only rule I think you should respect. And I would really wouldn't mind because even if I was against it, I'll just pick a boy and that's gonna be alright. Yeah, you see?
Yeah, it doesn't make a
Doesn't make a
difference.
difference. And but the only because there's a small thing, and I always found it was childish. I gotta admit it's childish, but at the same time, I'll when I was a 4 year old, that was when I got into the series, and at that age. I don't know the story. I don't know the timeline. I don't know anything. So
Hmm.
the only thing I actually loved about the series is that Link was left-handed like me. I was like, oh, he's left-handed like me. He's my hero. I am the hero. You
Yeah.
see? So today, of course, it evolved into the timeline, the story, and the universe.
Yeah, there's a lot more
Yeah,
to
yeah, a
it.
lot more. But at the start, it was why I wanted the series. So it always stayed with me. You know, it always this little thing always made me happy, of course. So when the funny thing is when they released Scarlet Sword, I saw it was right-handed, and I was so mad I didn't buy the game for a year. I was like, no, they can't do it. And then I just said, I was like, okay, motion controls, people are right-handed. It's obviously it's the right choice to do. But now
It makes
it makes
sense.
sense. But now that he's right-handed and we're not supposed to get any motion controls, I was like, why is he right-handed? But I will still buy the game, of course. Now I'm not, I'm not like when I was young, but
Yeah.
I was like, why? And I'm like looking for a reason. I'm still like, why this shouldn't be a reason at all anyway. I mean, it could be right-handed or left-handed, doesn't matter. But at the same time, in the like, I still want him to be left-handed. But they all,
Yeah, I'm right-handed, but I still feel like in any game without the motion controls, Link should be a lefty.
yeah, I mean,
That's part of his character.
yeah, like the thing that's I was talking to someone else on somewhere on Facebook, and he said it doesn't matter because it's not what makes the series what it is. I mean, yes, it's true, but there's some people that wanted the series for that reason, or for like I don't know the tunic, or because they like green, or they love ores, or whatever reason you can think of. There's a lot of reason for a lot of people that went into the series at first, but now, I mean, yes, of course, it doesn't. It's not what make the series uh, what it is today. But I mean, Link is unique in a way because he's left-handed. I think that's one of.
Mhm.
It's not the only thing that makes him unique, but that's a thing that people see when they see Link. It's like, oh, he's left-handed. It's different.
And something I think is if someone says it doesn't matter whether he's right or left-handed, I say yes it does.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Zelda games is that it's the small details that we really
Hmm.
appreciate. And if we wanted to play just any sword fighting game, we'd probably just go with something that is easier to get into because I'm sure there's something.
Hmm.
But if you really want something that you're going to enjoy for a lifetime, it's going to have to do a lot more. And those smaller details are really what does it for me personally. And a lot of people that I've talked to, and I feel like that's just the general consensus, where it's these small things, be it either the incredible detail they put into things you wouldn't expect, like Malon's brooch in Ocarina of Time that has Bowser on it,
Yeah, that was.
or like, hidden paintings, or the gossip stones, just all these little
Yeah.
things that other games wouldn't have. They have in Zelda. And Link being left-handed, I feel like that's one of those. That's one of those little details that helps make it special. And if you take that away, okay, it's one little detail that's gone. You could say it doesn't matter, but I feel like for the principle, for what it represents, it's significant.
Yeah, it's like the tunic. It's like the look. It's like whatever other small detail we actually can see in the Zelda game. Um, I think it's important to actually get these small details, like you say, the small details that makes what it is. And I I just don't get why people say it doesn't matter. Because I mean, it doesn't matter to them. That's fine. But if you take away all the small details, it becomes bland. It becomes like a general action adventure game. You see, and I think if I mean, he's the only hero or the unique character I actually know that he's left-handed. I don't know any other character. Like in Skyrim,
Luigi.
Luigi. Oh, Luigi is left-handed. I didn't know that. That's why I love him. But
I love him too.
um,
I think actually Luigi and Link, they have a lot in common. Their names start with L, they have a distinctive hat, they both wear green, they are popular Nintendo
yeah,
characters, they save princesses in magical kingdoms.
totally.
They got a lot in common.
Yeah, that way you said it, that's totally true. But yeah, but I think like I was saying, he's the only character really like, well, with Luigi of course, but that with a sword and
There are
shit.
very few.
Yeah, there are very few people, few characters, sorry, and like if I wanna, yes, you can put a left a sword in the left end of your character in Skyrim, but you can't do shit with it. Sorry for the word,
Yeah.
but you can't do anything about it. I mean, when you try to swing it, it doesn't work and or whatever. But you're limited on that, and you have to use the right end. It's always like the game, they animate the character for the right end, and the you kind of eliminate what about that. And all the characters I know, like the other swordsmen, they're all right-handed, and like that's make Link unique compared to the
Hmm.
others. So yeah, so that's the thing. So coming back to the subject, if they actually put a sex or sorry gender option, they should actually put, well, if they want to make it, because right now he's right-handed. Because right now we have seen Link on Zelda U that he's right-handed. So if they actually have the time to put a gender option, they definitely have the time to put a right-handed or left-handed option too. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure they can definitely do it. If they can do a gender change, they can do that. I'm sure. If there's no reason to put a gender option and not put like
Well, I
many
will say
else.
this because it seems like it would be easy enough, but if you think about it, changing the sex of a character is actually easier
Yeah.
than changing their handedness because of the fact that with one, all you really need to do is change the like the skin that goes on to the wireframe,
Hmm.
and then a few of the items and accessories, and potentially the voice. The voice would have to change as
No,
well, of
of course.
course.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, with changing the handedness, generally you want to do more than just like turn the entire character like on a mirror.
Yeah.
Instead you'd want to build it up from the ground again, and I feel like it would take a bit more work. Not a whole bunch, but definitely more than just changing it into a girl.
Yeah. No.
Although the
Yeah.
more I think about it, the more I feel like it's probably just even, considering all the voice work they would have to do for changing the sex. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's of course it works. Well, they're gonna have to do like some work to change it, or if they want to put these options. But I'm sure it's still doable. But yeah, of course, like you said, yeah, it's not really necessarily super easy to do, especially like I don't know nothing at all about game design or like how they model characters and stuff, but
Hmm.
I know they will have to adjust every cutscene and every like things you actually like if you switch sides or if you switch the gender. But I mean, it's still doable. Maybe that's why it got delayed, but but
Yeah,
yeah, I mean it's
if
doable.
they wanted to, if they were like, oh man, what if people get mad about him being right-handed? We should do this. Or another potential thing, they might just be doing that as another way to build hype a little. Like show him only as right-handed in the promotional art. Get people talking about it.
Yeah.
Like what people saying, "Wait, why is this?"
hmm
And then just generating the rumor mills. It would be a pretty good way to get some word of mouth
Yeah, and
advertisements.
then a reveal trailer or reveal video, and bam, you can switch. Bam, you can do this. Bam, and it might be like, oh my god.
Yeah, that would be like a big thing at E3. They could do
Oh,
that.
they could definitely
It would make people happy.
Nintendo could totally do that. They can surprise us with the most craziest things. So I'm sure they can do these things. That'd be great though to have. I want surprises. I want really want surprises at E3. I don't a title is not really a surprise because we expect a title.
Yeah,
Um,
we'd better get a
oh, we
title.
better be. Or not. If we don't get a title, but it's the title, like I said earlier, it's only the Legend of Zelda, I'd be happy too. But I want a confirmation if it's only this. But
Yeah.
we want a title, but we expect a title, so it's not really a surprise. But I think I want really want a surprise. Now, yes, I expect gameplay, I expect a title, I expect to see combat footage, how we fight in the game, because there's a thing with Zelda games that actually, well, the thing I like with Twilight Princess is what we could actually swing the sword while walking. I
Hmm.
think it's a small detail like we always want. It's a small detail, but it's still something that made the gameplay a little bit more fluid.
Fluid.
Yeah, because in Ocarina of Time, of course it's older game, but you still had to like you stop every time you swing. So sometimes you run after an enemy, you swing, but you ran, he's still running, so you just miss it every time you swing.
Yeah.
Now you can swing it while now you can swim on the horse, swim on the horse. You can
Oh, that would actually be pretty cool if Epona
yeah
was able to swim because
yeah
horses can swim. They're actually pretty good at
yeah
it.
that'd be cool.
So, if you could like wade across a river or whatever,
Yeah,
that'd be pretty
that'd be
fun.
cool. There's a lot of water in the game
Maybe you
too.
have to shoot some Octoroks so they don't shoot Epona.
Yeah, that'd actually be awesome. But yeah, like being able to swing the sword while on Epona, we've seen that in the gameplay footage. So I'm sure they could actually think of a way to swing while walking. I mean, they they actually they not put that in Scarlet Sword. They just I don't know they scrap the idea. I don't know, but I didn't understand that why they just didn't put that option in Scarlet Sword, because I think in Twilight Princess was really great to have like you can move and swing at the same time, but in Scarlet Sword they didn't put it. Maybe because of the motion controls, maybe they didn't want people to actually like because maybe they had the motion controls were limited. You don't want to like create some
Yeah,
bugs and
it
glitches.
was a pretty new idea.
Yeah.
So like the way they implemented it's pretty complex, and I have Skyward Sword, but I haven't started it yet just because I want to beat Twilight Princess first,
hmm
and so I don't have personal experience, but I have heard a lot of people online complain about how the motion controls are glitchy. I hear other people saying they're great, but I feel like the more complex they make it, the more likely it would be to glitch. So
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah, they probably just make it so you don't move because it could create some glitches. So they played safe on that thing. They played. They make it so that it was it was more safe for them to not have any glitches about the motion controls. So they
Yeah,
just
it was give and take
yeah.
because on one hand you get the motion controls, on the other hand you don't get to cut while walking. But whatever.
Yeah, it's like it's a small detail. It's not the end of the world, but it's still something I want back in the game. But going back to E3, I still like I said,
Rogue, please.
I want really big surprises. I want something to surprise me something I didn't think of yet. So I want something that makes me, oh my god, this is gonna be in the game. Like when I saw the trailer for Twilight Princess HD, I was like, oh my god! When they showed that you could, well, I already know what the Wii version was flipped, and when they showed that you could do both version, I was like, that's a
Hmm.
good idea because now people from both version could actually play the game the
Yeah.
way they want it, you know. But I think if they put a hero mode in, because I'm sure there's gonna be a hero mode in the next Zelda game, whether it's
Yeah.
just harder like in Wind Waker or if it's gonna be flipped like in the remake of Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
I think they could actually put a hero mode right now in the game. So I think they should actually talk about it in the E3 about how it's gonna work, like how the hero modes could actually work. If it's gonna be, well, of course, if there's an hero mode at all, but I hope there is. But if what could it be? What how could it work? It's gonna be flip. It's gonna be just harder, no hearts.
Yeah. But yeah, there was one thing that I wanted kind of related to the subject of hero mode, which was just a second quest.
Mhm.
Not like second quest like in Zelda 1 where it's, basically just the same thing again, but I mean like a legit second quest that is completely separate from the main quest, has like a different story to it. It doesn't have to be as big or whatever, but I would like there to be something else that's not a side quest that's like just as big, like in how it feels to complete it,
Mhm.
where you feel like by the end of it you've gone on a journey. It doesn't have to be like, temple based or whatever. Maybe it could be something that sends you back to the temples so
Mhm.
you could use those again, but just something that lets you experience the game from a different perspective. And maybe it could be something that you don't have to beat the first quest in order to be able to do it.
Mhm.
It could be something that maybe you do it at the same time, or maybe you even do it first.
Yeah, why not?
But just something to add to it so that people who maybe are having a problem with the first one or whatever, they have something else that they can do without just turning off the game and going to something else entirely.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, you're total. Yeah, yeah. Just that's the only thing I can say. That's totally right. Um, but there's also I told you I just thought of something but I just forgot it. Um, that was a cool thing I wanted to say. It's yeah about because the thing is um I'm sure I don't because now we know there's gonna be apple in the trees in the game.
Hmm.
And do you think that will replace arts? Because now people are like they see all this grass and they're like, I want to cut all of this grass, but I don't know if I don't know if they
Lawnmower Simulator,
that'd be great.
Zelda Edition.
Here's your Zelda Maker. No, seriously, I don't know if we're gonna be able to cut all of this grass. Honestly, I don't know, cause I mean, that'd be cool. Honestly, that'd be a fun thing to do. I will do that. I will do it, but like take 2 hours just to cut grass
Yeah.
everywhere. But at the same time,
And then if you get a shovel, then you get to dig holes everywhere too.
that'd be great, and it stays like that until the end of the game. No, but
Or you could refill it.
yeah, also yeah, you put flowers in there.
Oh, that did remind me. There was like with breaking pots. I was thinking, what if there was a character whose job it was to make all these pots? And there are a few different ways it could go. One is he could be happy with you because he has extra business because you're breaking all the other pots. But what if like you go into his shop and you break the ones before they're sold, and then he is just mad at you for the rest of forever? And like sometimes when you break a pot, you'll find a rude note inside directed at you.
That'd be awesome, actually. That'd be really
And
funny.
then like with the grass cutting thing, what if there was a lawnmower guy in Hyrule and he gets mad at you because you're cutting the grass and now he can't? Or if there's a guy who has to refill in the holes so that people don't trip and fall in them.
That'd be actually awesome.
It's just these little ideas for new characters who wouldn't be too important, but would be enough to make an imprint on you once you've finished or left the game.
Yeah.
I feel like little things like that, especially with things that like they're iconic to Zelda, like breaking pots and cutting grass. That's a huge thing in it, which maybe it shouldn't be, but I think it is, and it's going to stay forever. So you might as well do something with it, aside from just having it exist.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's a that would actually be awesome, honestly. Have these like it's kind of funny moments and like that's what makes the Zelda game. It's serious, but at the same time there's these like cool moments where you laugh and it gets yourself closer to the characters you meet and that you
Yeah.
I think it could actually honestly be a cool thing to have in the game.
But yeah, I will admit that the idea for the grass cutting dude and the pot making dude was in Pokemon. There's the garbage cans are always empty,
Oh, okay.
always. Except one time, I go into this place, I go to look at the garbage can. I don't know why. It's just I always want to look in there because I feel like they wouldn't let you look in there if there was always nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's ever anything, but I'm gonna keep looking until I find out. But one time, I go to look in the garbage can. There's a dude standing next to it, and I can't get to the garbage can because of him. And so when I talk to him, it turns out he's the guy whose job it is to empty out the garbage cans, and he's really good at his job. And he talks. He's like, I'm the dude who does this, and that's why they're always empty, basically. And I was like, okay, so they have one dude for all of that. I accept this, and I like it. It's just that little tidbit that's like, now I know why they're always empty. And, I think it would be cool if we could get something like that in Zelda.
Yeah.
Now I know why the pots are always back immediately.
Yeah, that's something that should actually be in the game. I think it's people's gonna love it. I think people are gonna actually yeah that's definitely something that should be in the game. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say it, but that should be in the game.
And maybe an explanation as to why bottles are so rare.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Bottles? There's literally bottles on the shelves in stores, but you can't buy the thing unless you have a bottle of your own. They will not give that bottle away.
No.
Even in Majora's Mask, that was where I got really mad about the bottles because in the shop run by the same guy who runs the Curiosity Shop, there's this bottle on a shelf just sitting there taunting you. You can't get it. You can only look at it. You can almost touch it. That's how close it is. If you do a backflip, I'm pretty sure your feet might just brush against it. But you can't get that bottle. You can't talk to him about that bottle. It's just there, taunting you forever. And I remember I was in there for like so long, just trying to see, can I get that bottle? Is there something I can do, something I can look at to make him talk about that? No.
And the bottles seems to be pretty rare in Hyrule.
Yeah, and in Termina.
In Termina too.
And Low Rule, I suppose.
Yeah, everywhere.
Just bottles. They don't know how to make glass.
I don't know what else.
But they can make a hook shot. So.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I have one last question, okay? It's
Okay.
do you want classic bosses to come back or do you want new bosses? Or a mix of both?
Mostly I want new.
Okay.
But there are some of the, bosses that have been done maybe like super classic, like things that haven't really been done in 3D, like that first boss that in the original Legend of Zelda, that was also the first boss in I want to. It was either one of the Oracle series or else Link's Awakening is what I want to say.
I don't remember either, but
But
I know which one you're talking about. But yeah.
yeah, it was the dragon with the horn. I remember its name, just not off the top of my head. It's like it grabbing that name is just not working for me
It's
right now. But that boss,
yeah,
if that and some of the other ones that were in the original and Zelda 2, if
yeah.
those could be put into 3D, they would be pretty epic.
I think so. Yeah, that would actually be awesome. Um,
Especially since like they didn't have super specific weaknesses. It was just, you just have to hit them enough. It doesn't matter particularly what you hit them with
yeah,
or where you hit them. It's just if you can hit them, you'll do some damage. And I think a boss like that would be nice for a change. And yeah, they had a weak point where it would do more damage if you hit them there,
yeah,
but you didn't have to.
yeah.
And I think getting that in 3D would make it a lot more interesting.
Definitely. Yeah. Do you have something you want to say? Something else you forgot to say, or
Yes,
go for it?
I want Tingle.
Tingle. Yeah.
He's just another one of those weird little
Yeah, he's
things
awesome.
that he makes my day whenever I see him, especially like all the weirdness about him. It has so much potential just for funny little Easter eggs. Like, in Wind Waker, you got the Tingle Tuner,
Yeah.
or else in oh no, that was in Wind Waker too, actually. He was potentially a murderer.
Yeah, that's
Because
right.
if you think about it, he's got that secret cave that he was digging as an escape route that no one else knew about, but there were skulls in there.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
So, like, did Tingle kill people to keep his secret? Or else is he digging through a burial ground? Because I don't think it's the burial ground, because that thing is on a cliff, that prison he's in. So I'm thinking Tingle might be a murderer.
Maybe, maybe he's a boss.
Yeah, if you could fight Tingle, I mean he's pretty powerful if he has enough rupees,
Yeah,
apparently. So
he's in Arrow Warriors after all, so I guess.
maybe there could be a thing where you fight him. But yeah, I feel like the character of Tingle hasn't gotten enough. Like I think the only game where he played an important role
Mhm.
outside of his own was Minish Cap, where you had those kinstone pieces.
Yeah.
And I never actually finished that. Like there were 4 kinstone pieces that I never managed to match, so I didn't get to go to that place after you match 100 kinstone pieces, and it really bothered me because I feel like they were ones that you had to do at a specific time, and that's why I couldn't get them.
Hmm.
But like kinstone pieces were fun. Tingle is fun. Heck, maybe even both of them.
Yeah, that'd be great. That actually, Tingle is actually. I think Tingle is weird, but he's awesome. So I guess that's pretty much sums it up. So about what we actually expect.
Yeah, just weird but awesome.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's a good way to put it.
That's it. We finish it up with Tingle.
Yes.
Tingle is the best. Keeping the best at the end.
Actually, I remember this drawing I made of Tingle once. There was this group of friends I have, and we did these things that we would call events, where for like a week we would just have like random games and contests that we would do. And we always took them way too far, but there was this one that was just a little silly one where it was a doodling contest. And so I'm like, I'm gonna draw Tingle. And so I drew Tingle. He's just throwing confetti in the air, and he's in this meadow, and in big bubble letters around him is Tingle, Tingle, Kulu Limpa.
Awesome.
And then I had this little fairy at the end of it as like an asterisk. And then at the bottom of the page in this little box, there was that same fairy to like link to it. And then it says, these are magic words that Tingle made up himself. Don't steal them. And I did not win that contest because apparently a drawing does not qualify as a doodle. I put in too much detail.
That.
But moral of the story is I love Tingle.
It's awesome.
I still have that drawing somewhere, I'm sure.
Tingle power. Well, I think that's pretty much what we expect of the game. I guess
Yeah,
that's a big
that's
that
basically
was a
it.
big
Let me
discussion.
check my notes. I don't think I missed
I
anything.
don't think either. I think the
Amiibos,
amiibo,
they should be used.
yeah, amiibo.
And
I think that's pretty much.
oh, oh, two things. No, three things apparently I didn't
Oh
get
yeah.
to. One, an item shop, like in Link Between Worlds,
Yeah.
because it's basically a necessity for that more open questing.
Mhm.
Because otherwise, you basically have to go to a temple to get whatever item,
Yeah.
or else items don't or temples don't need specific
Yeah.
items. Another thing, a new villain.
Yeah.
Like Ganondorf is great, but he's very overdone.
Mhm.
There are only a very small handful of Zelda games where he's not the main villain in some way or another,
Mhm.
and I think a new villain would be nice. And then the last thing was like a fast and or no help mode, where
Okay.
like if you're replaying the game, you're a veteran to the series, you don't have to be hand walked through the first level
Yeah.
and then told every single time in a non-skippable conversation how to use this
I press
item.
Z to
Like,
look at me.
it's like, or maybe like skippable cutscenes. Like after you've seen it, push start and you can just skip it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I think that would be nice.
Oh yeah, of course. You just quick thing you talked about item shop. I think it actually be great. I just don't want all of the items in the shop. Like in Limited Rose, it was I think almost all of the items. But
Yeah, like the sand rod was really the only one that wasn't until a bit later.
yeah, but I think item shop is a really cool idea. But I just don't want like
Yeah, not all
all
of
of
them,
them. No, no.
just like most
Yeah,
of them.
yeah. Of course,
Or
yeah.
maybe like half.
Yeah, around that'd be fine. Cause if it's all of them and you can actually buy them as soon as you start the game, it's kind of okay. I got everything at the
Yes.
start. Yeah, but oh, maybe you can actually like in Scarlet Sword, like the shop guy where there's the shield. You unlock the shield as after a temple, so maybe you
Mhm.
can actually get new items well, you can buy new items after completing something. So maybe at the beginning you get like I don't know the bow, the hook shot, and the boomerang, and after a couple of dungeons there's new items that you can buy, and maybe
Yeah, or just
the
upgrades to your
upgrades.
current
Yeah,
items.
yeah, why not? That'd be cool.
And I think that would be a thing where if you're going to do the item shop, like, yeah, it starts out with whatever items, and you're thinking, well, what is there after this? There aren't that many other items we can get. Well, upgrades.
Yeah,
At first, you get the bomb, and then you can get, bomb chews, and then, like, remote control bomb
yeah,
chews. Or first, you get the bow and arrows, and then you'll get the various magical upgrades, fire, ice, whatever. And
hmm
there's definitely potential where, this guy could keep getting new wares as the game
yeah,
progresses.
totally. That'd be awesome.
Or maybe like you have to bring him something specifically, show it to him, and he'll be like, I can do something with that. Just wait here, or come back in 3 days or whatever.
Yeah, and make.
And
Oh, sorry, go for it.
I was just gonna say that would be
Oh, that
cool.
would be cool, definitely. And make the shop owner the Max Mask selling man from Majora's Mask. That would be awesome. The mask owner, the guy from Majora.
Oh, the mask. Yeah, the happy mask
Yeah,
salesman.
yeah, that's the name. I don't know why I forgot the
Yeah.
name, but yeah, Happy Mask Salesman. That'd be awesome.
I think he's definitely a character who should be brought in because he's pretty mysterious and
Yeah.
creepy. That you could bring him. Because when you played Ocarina of Time, did you ever come back without the money for the mask?
One time I think I went without the money. Yeah, he wasn't really happy.
He screams at you. He kicks you out of his shop and he's like, "Come back with my money or else." And like I had never done it until I heard about it. And when I heard about it, I happened to be replaying the game at the time. And so I was like, I'm going to do that just to see it and show it to my brother who hadn't watched the other thing with me. And it was just amazing. It's another one of those little details.
Yeah.
But, because I always carried a full wallet, I never had that problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. We get so much rupees easily, so much. It's so easy to actually get rupees. in recent games.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I have two last things, but it's just two small details I actually want. It's kind of personal opinions, but the one thing I want is for purely for nostalgia or just for fun. It's not at all useful for gameplay. At least, it's actually I want to be able to put like the starting gear again, because I mean I had fun doing that. I mean, in Twilight Princess, I had fun like at the end of the game, like wearing the wooden shield and the Ardent Sword, and go back
Hmm.
in the first dungeon and just kill enemies, or go back at I want to
Yeah.
and try to do a later dungeon with only the first sword, and just be able to actually put them on again. And why not being able to put a tunic or the starting clothes whenever you want? I mean, why not? Because that's the thing I didn't like in Wind Waker, because as soon as I got the mirror shield, I couldn't actually wear the first shield, which
Yeah. And that was a gift from your grandmother.
yeah.
Like, did he just throw it away?
That's
Like, I always felt horrible about that.
yeah. I kind of like I would kind of like if you could actually put it back on, and the old sword too, so you just kind of mess around with the your gear and just
And then like when you go back, like if they had done that with Wind Waker, which they totally should have, then it's like you go back to your grandmother if and she'll like respond differently depending on the shield you have equipped.
yeah,
Like that would have been pretty nice, I
yeah, that
think.
would have been cool.
Especially if she's like disappointed you don't have her shield
Yeah.
and she's like, "Link, where's the shield I lent you? You know
Oh.
that ancient relic from the hero past."
Just throw in the water. No, but still, but yeah, and the that would be cool. And the last thing is purely because I still a personal thing is I
Hmm.
want I call it a tailor shop, but I kind of compare it to the tailor shop in Assassin's Creed, where you have your own assassin clothes on, but you can go in the shop and buy other design, like other colors, other like the tunic. Well, in this case, the tunic of older characters, like in type like I don't know, maybe like in Zelda you actually go to the shop and you can actually wear the tunic of Twilight Princess, the tunic of Wind Waker, the tunic of Ocarina of Time, just because you want it, because you actually you prefer that one, so you well.
And maybe some non-tunics.
Yeah, why not
You know,
clothes?
if you really want to mix things up.
Yeah.
And I had actually thought of that, but like I didn't write it down. I don't know why. But yeah, I think the way I thought of it was different though. What not like a tailor shop, but like just a specific item you might get somewhere.
Yeah.
Like in the Oracle series, there were these magical rings you could
Mhm.
get. And one of them, I believe it was called the 8-bit ring, and when you put it on, it would make you look like Link did in the original Legend of Zelda game.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And it was just this cool little thing that I was like, well, you know, maybe bring that back.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not make him be this 8-bit sprite, although that would be pretty funny too. And, you know, if you're going to have magic, why not? But, you know, maybe make him be able to put on these different costumes.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, totally. And
Maybe not go total Triforce Heroes with it, but
yeah, yeah, nice.
just have it there as an option.
Yeah, that'd
Why
be
not?
cool. Honestly, yeah, I think that's something that should be in the game. I mean, it's gonna be give it a little bit more freedom to the players to actually
Mhm.
be the way and look the way they want to look. Like, I mean, it's just a small detail again, but it's still
Yeah, just another one of those things that helps you associate Link with
yeah.
yourself.
Because if I want to be to wear the Twilight Princess tunic and be left-handed and be a girl, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing I'm gonna do, and that's
Yeah.
something that's gonna be better, and I think people are gonna like the game more that
And
way.
have the mirror shield.
Mirror Shield, why not?
Just mix it all
Yeah,
up.
Mirror Shield and all the things, everything. I want to keep the wooden sword. I want to have a wooden sword and be able to keep it, and
Yeah,
it
and
can burn.
maybe have an advantage with the wooden
Yeah,
sword. Like something that's small but still
yeah,
there. Like maybe like if you could if there was a shop where you could put like a carving into it
yeah. That'd be great.
just to personalize it cuz they can totally do that. They had custom carts in Mario Kart.
Yeah, why
Why
not?
not?
I guess they can do anything. I'm sure they'll surprise us. I'm sure we're gonna be surprised on next month, next
Yeah.
Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday, 17th. 13, I think. It's the no, it's the 12, then 14. I think it's
Well, today's the 9th.
yeah.
And that's what I know.
Okay. Well, I think it's if I'm right, it's Tuesday, next Tuesday. So we'll see at this moment.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to have you here. So thanks a lot. Uh,
Yeah, it was great being here.
so your channel is gonna be in the description below. So
Okay.
that's awesome. So well, see you next time, I guess.
Yeah, and if anyone, if you're still here after this long, then you obviously like The Legend of Zelda. So I was doing a playthrough of Ocarina of Time Master Quest. I got to get back to it. So hopefully by the time this is up, I'll have another episode.
Yeah. Well, I wish.
Shameless plug-in right there.
It's okay. I wish you good luck in your playthrough.
Yeah, you too.
See ya. So hope you guys like it. Subscribe, and I'll tell you guys later. So see ya.
Yep. Bye.